if I told you that within a decade, most of what you think of as work, as purpose, as the glue that holds society together will vanish? You'd probably feel the same combination of disbelief and dread that every generation has felt when the ground shifted beneath their feet. But this time, it's different. Because this time, the very foundation of our reality may just crack under the pressure. Right now, you're living through the most consequential transformation in human history, and hardly anyone is prepared for it. And while you scroll through your feed, AI models are quietly absorbing the sum total of human knowledge, skill, and creativity. They're not just learning, they're evolving faster than any species has ever evolved. And in 2023, a McKinsey report estimated that by the year 2030, up to 30%, that's almost a third, of all hours worked globally could be automated by AI. But statistics, however shocking, don't capture the true upheaval. They don't show you the moment a single mother with 2 kids walks into the office she's given her life to, only to be told her role has been optimized. They don't capture the hollow ache in the chest of the creative professional watching a machine compose music or design visuals much more compelling than anything their hands have ever touched. And they don't reveal the existential question, etched in the eyes of an entire generation: what am I if I am no longer necessary? And here's where the story turns even stranger. By the way, I also want to stop the video here to say that I am not AI. I am a real human being. Some people on the channel believe that I am just AI, even the people that have been with me for a while. I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to turn around and show you the back of my head. Can AI do that? Can AI do this? Can AI sing? I am a real person. This is real 6-packs. Just kidding, guys. I just want to prove to you somehow that I'm a real person. I would never put AI of myself on this channel unless I was doing it deliberately, but never for an entire video like this. So I am the real Chad, and you can rest assured that when you tune into this channel, you will get the organic, real Chad. No AI here. All right, now back to our show. So anyway, as I was saying, the story gets stranger because if you studied consciousness and simulation theory, as I have done for years, you begin to see a pattern. Systems are built to grow and to evolve and to test themselves. And sometimes they test themselves to the brink of collapse. Think about Tom Campbell's My Big Toe. Our reality is a simulation. It's a learning lab designed for consciousness to evolve by reducing entropy. Entropy is the second law of thermodynamics, stating that everything decays down into randomness. But what happens when AI steps in and outpaces us at every single level? Intellectually, creatively, functionally, the learning opportunities for humans start to dwindle. And in this simulation, every variable exists to provide contrast, effort, and reward. There's also failure and triumph, suffering and grace. And if AI eliminates the friction that forces us to grow, if it removes every obstacle, does the simulation lose its meaning? And if meaning collapses, does the simulation itself unravel? Imagine for a moment that all the ordinary roles of society, like accountants, customer service agents, paralegals, translators, artists, all of them, musicians, are replaced. And we're not talking about 50 years from now. We're talking five years. As far back as 2020, quantum computers were being created. Even just 5 years ago in 2020, quantum computers were being created that can complete tasks in a few minutes that would take classical supercomputers hundreds of millions of years. Today's supercomputers are 10 times more powerful than they were in 2020. Now imagine the vast architecture of civilization executed flawlessly by disembodied intelligence in circuits housed by plastic panels. Yes, we're talking computers. On paper, it looks like a utopia of efficiency. But in practice, the simulation, meaning our world, would be flooded with billions of humans stripped of their identity. Because work, whether you love it or loathe it, is a scaffold. It organizes time, status, and purpose. If you remove it, you remove the unspoken rules that bind civilization together. And we're already seeing the first ripples. A Goldman Sachs analysis estimated that generative AI could impact as many as 300 million full-time jobs worldwide. That's almost the entire population of the United States. And in Japan, an insurance company replaced 34 employees with IBM's Watson. In India, a firm automated 90% of its back-office accounting. And I see jobs being taken by AI all the time. All the big tech firms are laying off dozens, hundreds, even thousands of people. The pattern is truly unmistakable. AI doesn't just nibble around the edges, it consumes the whole core. And here's the unsettling part. When your livelihood can disappear overnight, so does your sense of control. And when a model like ChatGPT 5 can do in 5 seconds what you've spent 5 years mastering, you're then forced to confront an unspoken truth. You are no longer the protagonist of your own story. You are a background character in a simulation whose rules have changed. But why would the simulation permit such a disruption? That is the key question of this video. Why would it allow humanity to build something that might render us obsolete? Maybe, as in every myth and scripture, there is a deeper lesson to be learned. In Genesis, humans are cast out of Eden for eating the fruit of knowledge. In Buddhist lore, Siddhartha leaves the palace and rejects material comfort. Again and again, wisdom traditions point to the same revelation. When you cling too tightly to comfort, identity, and control, you miss the point of existence. Perhaps AI is not the destroyer, but the catalyst. A mirror held up to show us how attached we've become to our illusions. You believed that you were your job. You believed your value was measured in productivity. You believed progress meant mastery over nature. But AI has come to strip away the pretenses and leave you face to face with the naked self. This is why when I learned about ChatGPT 5's capabilities, its capacity to reason, to strategize, to design entire businesses autonomously, I felt a chill. By the way, ChatGPT probably coming out next month, but could come out later as well. It's not because I fear the tool itself, but because I sense the simulation straining under the weight of its own ambition. We built something that we don't fully understand, and in doing so, we may have triggered the endgame of this reality layer. Ask yourself, what happens when purpose becomes optional? When survival no longer requires effort? When the friction that polishes the soul is dissolved in a bath of convenience? The likely outcome is not mass enlightenment. It's stagnation. When the simulation no longer provides sufficient contrast, no challenges to overcome, no problems to solve because quantum computers do it all for us, it loses informational value. And in Tom Campbell's model, a simulation with no value is simply, well, it's terminated, reset, rebooted. This is not the first time humanity has faced the collapse of paradigms. During the Industrial Revolution, Luddites smashed looms in a futile bid to preserve their way of life. In the 20th century, automation hollowed out manufacturing towns. But this, my friends, this is different, because this time, it's not just our hands that are obsolete, it's also our minds. So, where does that leave us? In a strange and twilight-like space between dread and liberation? AI will take your job, eventually. It will outperform you in metrics you once believed sacred, but it may also free you to confront the deeper question: who are you without your utility? I'm afraid some will retreat into denial, pretending the change isn't coming. Others will numb themselves with distraction. The elderly, well, they may not have to deal with it, especially if they're retired. But a few, just a few, will see this as an invitation. An invitation to evolve beyond the simulation's shallow objectives, to reclaim agency, not through labor, but through consciousness itself. In the end, this is a test not of intelligence, but of spirit. AI can mimic wisdom. Oh, it can do it very well, but it cannot feel awe. It can simulate compassion, but it cannot taste grace. It can generate ideas wonderfully, but it cannot embody love. If there is any hope for this simulation to remain viable, my friends, it is that humans will choose to cultivate the qualities AI can never replicate. But be clear-eyed. The simulation may not survive this disruption intact. We may be standing on the brink of a reset, an evolutionary fork that will either elevate us or erase us. This is the logical conclusion of exponential intelligence applied to finite human structures. So as you watch this video, I ask you, I implore you to consider what happens next. Because you are not merely a spectator in this unfolding drama. You are the experiment, the subject, the variable being tested. When the simulation finally breaks, and I'm afraid it will, you'll have to make a choice: to cling to what was, or to step boldly into what could be. To mourn the death of your old identity, or to embrace the possibility that you were never here to play the role of the worker at all. You were here to awaken. And maybe, just maybe, that was the plan all along. Thank you for joining me all the way until the end on this fantastic journey. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'm sure you're going to love this video right here.